Hello, my name is Dwayne today, and I'm just another garden variety human being that fell into alcoholism for one point in his life. And I'm trying to read this Daily Reflections book for us all, which is copyrighted material, and I'm using today's reading as a way to get into some kind of commentary and hopefully to help somebody that might be of different understanding of the material than I am. So my understanding of the anonymity and copyright stuff and attraction rather than promotion, tradition 11, I think I'm well within those guidelines. Here's a title right here, Global Sharing. Anyhow, today's reading says, for October 26, 2025, One Ultimate Authority. Oh, so I'm going to read this book today, part of it. One small part. Far lesser than a substantial part of the copyrighted material. And again, just for commentary. October 20, the day, blah, 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 Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections for AA members, for AA members. Copyright 2017 by Alcoholics Anonymous World Services Incorporated, including registrations in the U.S. and Canada, copyright offices, all rights reserved. Mail address box 459, Grand Central Station, New York, New York, or www.aa.org. So, again, Daily Reflections for October 26, 2025 is called One Ultimate Authority. For our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as he may express himself in our group conscience. That's from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions book, page 132. When I am chosen to carry some small responsibility for my fellows, I ask that God grant me the patience, open-mindedness, and willingness to listen to those I would lead. I must remind myself that I am the trusted servant of others, not their governor, teacher, or instructor. God guides my words and my actions, and my responsibility is to heed his suggestions. Trust is my watchword. I trust others who lead. In the fellowship of AA, I entrust God with the ultimate authority of running the show, period, the end of the reading. So, I got to looking at a bunch of copyright infringement laws and who do you simply contact if you have requests about using copyrighted material, and then in here, look at this is in the context of I don't know what of my recovery journey. There's a willingness to abide by laws would be kind of the larger picture point thing here in my lifetime is that in the country I live in, there's laws. It's considered a civil society, and as such, we have legislators who are elected people, and they end up putting forth bills stating what is like an agreed upon code of conduct, maybe. I don't know if any of this is correct, but that's my idea of a society and a civil society. Okay, and so I've been looking at this stuff today about how can I abide by Alcoholics Anonymous is 11th tradition, I think it is. Our public relations, that's the Alcoholics Anonymous, which I'm just tapping on this. Anyway, the 12 traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous, the 11th tradition is our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films, period. So I believe now digitalized version, the internet as such, is part of this press, radio, and films and internet in my in my understanding of this tradition. Our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. And I was looking up attraction rather than promotion means its public relations policy relies on individuals being drawn, or individuals, you and me, being drawn to the program through observing its success in others rather than through direct marketing or advertising. So there's things that say within these anonymity clauses here and there. I couldn't give you an accurate citing of where I actually read this today, but loosely associated with the AA thing or any kind of principle of anonymity, if you're showing your face and saying any name, like a fictitious first name, that's kind of a paradox because you're looking right at a human face. Now we got AI, human recognition software, and all, or whatever, all that. So it says something like, "Do not show your face," but then it's like, how are people? Wait a minute, I should have thought this out a little bit better before I started talking about this. Probably. By an audience of any type, size, in any dimension, I think, looking at me, witnessing my testimony of how I've gotten sober. It came from a 12-step program. So, when I get emotional, or there's some heavy emotional charge behind what I'm talking about, I think the visual depiction of my face via a camera like this one and on YouTube is a good way to promote the message that hope, strength, and my experience through what I've learned in life is good. And how other than, it seems like I would need to mention where I got some of my ideas, and a lot of them come from Alcoholics Anonymous. So, right there where I connected that to me, then I think that's a violation of this 12-step thing that I started promoting. Public relations, individuals being drawn to the program through observing its success in others. Because I've talked to other people out in society, like I mentioned earlier, I'm like, "Hi, nice weather we're having. Sorry, I can't even think of a good morning, fine sir or ma'am. Nice weather, eh? Question mark. And then they might say something, and we talk about the weather for a bit, and then maybe this person says something like, boy, you're a well-behaved individual. How so? And then I say, well, I used to be an alcoholic, and I really didn't like that way of life, and I found a wonderful program called Alcoholics Anonymous, making that link again now, that has helped me immensely. Period. The end of the story and example. How is that? I don't understand the promotion rather than, because I had to say where I came from and how come I turned into such a wonderful person, as this person said to me. I'm not clear on that. Maybe you guys are. Maybe you can help me on that. Like, how do you avoid mentioning the source of where you came from? I've been at this for a while today, and the AI internet, the regular internet, whatever, the two different ways of looking for information. What is it? Oh, a 12-step program. And a lot of the thing is you can almost think of when people say a 12-step program, a 12-step program. Those 4 words usually conjures an image in a lot of the developed worlds of mind of 2 letters, AA. And then when people say those 2 letters, AA, there's pretty much a well agreed upon organization that comes to their mind the majority of the time. So it's so copyright law and, well, laws in general, they need to be nitty-gritty specific in that way. I understand legalese, the reasoning behind it, at least. But boy, anyways, that outside issue. One governing authority, I believe, right? What was this called today? The reading. That was on my mind, and I thought I'd get that off-boarded here. One ultimate authority. Mine is a power greater than myself that I haven't quite since revealed the name. I've mentioned I'm a Christian, so I'll say that much, but that doesn't have a lot to do with AA. It's a whole different thing for me. One ultimate authority. For our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as He may express Himself. In my case, I get my picture of a loving God as He expresses Himself in our group conscience. Up inside here, in my head only, I think, is what that's saying. To be sure, I need to go read the full part out of 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 132, which would be this book here, which, anyways, where are we at for time? 13 minutes. Haven't gotten anywhere near anybody recovering from alcohol yet, I don't think. Well, maybe. When I am chosen to carry some small responsibility for my fellows, I ask that God grant me the patience, open-mindedness, and willingness to listen to those I would lead. I must remind myself that I am the trusted servant of others. That's like these legislators I mentioned earlier that come up with laws, or at least are the people in charge of making it a law rather than just some majority opinion of how things should run in a civilized society. Then they make it into a law by the use of a legislator, which is also, I think, another trusted servant, but in a different category than what we're talking about here. But the same thing, leadership structure of, if you got 4 different people with 4 different ideas telling you that only way to get something done, and you look at it, well, those are four different opinions, and none of them are matching. Who do I follow? Where's the best advice here? What's the likelihood of the most optimal solution occurring? Which one do I select? So then somehow a leader emerges. Okay, so anyways, I ask that God grant me the patience, open-mindedness, and willingness to listen to those I would lead. I must remind myself that I am the trusted servant of others. That would be like you people. Not their governor. I'm not trying to govern you. I may be trying to teach you something from my life experience and my hope and my experience. Or your instructor. I am trying to instruct you, but I must remind myself that I am the trusted servant of others, not their governor, teacher, or instructor. And this part's true for me. God guides my words and my actions, and my responsibility is to heed His suggestions. So my boss, the one I follow, is this God, this one loving God, as He may express Himself in my portion of the group conscience. Trust is my watchword. I trust others who lead. So, in the fellowship of AA, I entrust God with the ultimate authority of running the show. So, also, this morning I found a lot of the people, or let's see, I found a lot of comments here, and they're all over the internet, in the most general way of speaking, that there are some people that do not care for Alcoholics Anonymous and actually have specific channels dedicated just to that, and by name. And that's fine by me, because that's their thing. If I don't like it, I don't look at it. That's pretty simple for me. And also, whether I like it or not really shouldn't influence you. So, I don't know what I'm really talking about here. If I start thinking about all kinds of legalities, it's like, man, people can sue me left and right, it seems. There's a book I've read at one point in my life, or not the entire thing, but what is it? It's some specific number of felonies a day. And I believe they're talking about it within the United States of America. Just about any legal citizen going by, if you, let's see, what's a better way of putting this? As a legal citizen in the United States of America, this author posited his theory that it's impossible to make it through a 24-hour period without committing some specific number of felonies, period. And let's just, I'm making this up, I think the name of this book is something like 12 felonies a day, or 100 felonies a day or something, and I believe the author of that book was like an attorney. And I just bring this up because if I start talking about a bunch of stuff I don't understand, I'm very likely to commit some wrongs, period. And I don't do it consciously and on purpose, maliciously. Okay, here, where are we at? 19 minutes. When I am chosen to carry some small responsibility for my fellows, and I liken I was in the United States Navy, long time ago. Or was I? That teamwork is a critical aspect. And I went to a public school at some point in the United States. And I've been to public schools outside of the United States for different reasons. But teamwork, human beings being social creatures that we are, get together and start talking. That's how language developed, I believe. We're not just all grunting and groaning any longer. We came up with language. I'm going to run out of time on this, I think. And then I'm just going to keep talking, and then it will just, whatever. What am I talking about here? Okay. Wrongdoing, not maliciously. It happens. I get talking. Oh, now I forget. I'm worn out. 20 minutes on this. Legalities, legalese, and all this stuff and such. It gets tongue-tied without. I mean, if you're really closely trying to monitor what you're talking about, it takes an enormous amount of focused energy not to impede upon people's rights and not to make mistakes. We'll put it that way. So I'm sorry if I've offended you or made some mistakes. Teacher or instructor, God guides my words and my actions, and my responsibility is to heed God's suggestions. Trust is my watchword. I trust others who lead. That's what I was talking about. In the fellowship of AA, I entrust God with the ultimate authority of running the show. So here, I'm going to stop here and maybe start part 2 just to see how much more of my foot I can insert into my mouth. Thank you for coming here today.